Have you ever noticed that even though you shower every day, there's a certain smell that just won't go away? People don't say anything out loud, but you can tell. That quick glance when someone hugs you, that subtle reaction when you get close. You do your best to stay clean, to take care of yourself, but something feels off. And then comes the comment, wrapped in affection. "Grandpa, sometimes you smell older." As if growing old meant giving up freshness, giving up the dignity of your own body. I'm Gabriel, and today I'm going to say what no one else will. That smell people call old person smell isn't a life sentence. It's not inevitable, it's not natural, and it's not part of aging gracefully. It's the result of years of overlooking certain parts of the body, of incomplete routines, and half-hearted care. And it's not your fault. No one ever taught us that after 60, some areas of the body need more than just soap and water. Stick with me until the end, because I'm going to show you exactly which areas those are, how to clean them with purpose, and why doing it can change not just how you smell, but how you feel about yourself. You're not here to settle, you're here to take charge, and if you stay, you will. Number 1. Clean where soap doesn't reach. There's no clearer sign of time passing than that feeling that something has changed in your body, even if you can't quite explain it. You shower every day, you use soap, you take care of your clothes, and yet there's a smell that lingers, a subtle discomfort you can't name. But you feel it, and you're not the only one. Sometimes others notice it too, even if they don't say anything. You see it in their body language, in the distance, in that offhand comment that stings more than it should. It's not the smell of sweat or dirt. It's that scent of skin that no longer renews itself, of pores that have given up, of areas no longer scrubbed with the energy they once were. Science has an explanation. As we age, the body produces more 2-nonenal, a fatty compound released in certain parts of the body that clings to the skin like a second layer. It's stubborn, nearly invisible, and regular soap doesn't quite get rid of it. It builds up in folds, in hidden corners that are hard to reach or even see. This isn't about poor hygiene, it's about precision. It's about not being told that as the body changes, so must the way we care for it. But there's something deeper here. Stoic philosophy teaches us that what's unseen still matters. Epictetus said, "No great thing is created suddenly," and that applies to decline as well. What smells bad today started years ago with an incomplete routine, with a lack of intention, with ignoring what goes unnoticed. Just as the soul withers when left unfed, the body starts to send out signals of neglect when we stop paying attention. Bad odor isn't just a physical issue, it's a silent cry from the parts of the body that are being ignored. In Japanese tradition, there's a term, ma. It means the empty spaces, the silences, the things we don't see, but that define everything. Our bodies have ma, spaces we leave unattended, unwashed, uncared for. That's where the problem begins, because when we stop looking into those corners, we also stop recognizing ourselves. We become strangers to our own bodies. But what if I told you that by simply turning your attention back to those overlooked areas, you could reclaim a part of your autonomy? Because this isn't just about smelling good, it's about feeling in control of your body again, about knowing that you're not at the mercy of decline or age, that you still get to choose how you walk through the world, with your head held high, with no shame and no excuses. So next time you shower, don't do it on autopilot. Ask yourself, what parts of me am I ignoring? Where does soap fail to reach, but time always does? Because it's in those forgotten corners where the transformation begins. And if you think this is important, just wait until you realize all the things you've stopped touching and still have the power to reclaim. Number 2, your back deserves attention too. In the final stage of his life, French philosopher Michel de Montaigne, retired in his tower, would write from a wooden chair leaned against a stone wall. They say he spent hours reflecting, reading, and composing his famous essays, but rarely took the time to move freely. His back, stiff from age and disuse, began to hunch naturally, as if his body was slowly retreating from life. It wasn't until a doctor friend spoke to him about the silent deterioration caused by lack of movement that Montaigne wrote a line few remember, but that holds a deep truth. When the body shrinks, the mind does too. What happened to Montaigne isn't so different from what happens today. As we age, there are parts of our bodies we stop touching, stop moving, stop caring for with the attention that once came naturally. The back, that vast area we can't see and can barely reach, becomes forgotten territory. And with that neglect comes stagnation. Dead skin cells, dry sweat, leftover creams, tight clothing, they all build up there, creating a subtle but lingering odor. The smell isn't the worst part. It's what it represents. Giving up on caring for what's out of sight, what takes a little more effort, what no longer comes easy. Stoicism didn't speak directly about the body, but it did speak of the invisible forces that shape what we see. Seneca said that what we should fear most isn't what strikes suddenly, but what seeps in slowly, without us noticing. The same goes for neglecting your back. It's not just a physical space, it's a symbol of what we've left behind, of what we no longer see as urgent. And yet, it's there, every day, collecting the weight of time. Today, science confirms that skin deterioration and poor circulation in the back worsen with age, especially when we stop exfoliating or stimulating that area. The body loses its natural ability to regenerate skin. Pores clog, the skin dulls, and with it comes chronic odor. This isn't just about appearances, it's about health and dignity. Think about it. If even you can't reach your own back, who will? Who will care for what you've already stopped seeing as important? You're not here to depend on others. You're here to reclaim your autonomy in every corner of your body. Because taking care of your back isn't a trivial act. It's an act of full presence. It's telling time it hasn't beaten you yet, that you're still capable of taking complete care of yourself. Number 3, your armpits aren't what you think. Today, I want to offer you a simple but eye-opening experiment. Next time you shower, when you get to your armpits, don't just run the soap over them quickly. Pause. Breathe. Use a neutral soap, preferably with a soft bristle brush or natural sponge, and make slow, circular motions for at least a minute on each side. Don't rush it. Do it as if you were setting yourself free. Then rinse with warm water, and when drying off, apply a mix of diluted apple cider vinegar as a natural toner. Notice how the smell of your skin changes over the next few hours. It may seem like a small gesture, but that 1 minute can teach you more about yourself than a whole day of empty conversations. Your armpits are one of the most delicate areas of the body because they hold special sweat glands called apocrine glands. As we age, these glands change. They produce less sweat, but it's thicker, which leads to a more persistent and stubborn odor. Commercial deodorants don't solve the issue, they cover it up. And over time, that chemical layer forms a barrier that keeps your skin from breathing. The solution isn't to mask, it's to clean from the root, just like in life. Epictetus said we shouldn't adorn ourselves for others, but cleanse ourselves from within. And that applies to the body too. Caring for this area isn't about vanity, it's about respect. Studies on personal care show that deep hygiene rituals boost self-esteem and restore a sense of control. It's a powerful way of saying, I still have power over myself. I can still renew my body even as time goes on. And since we're talking about renewal and care, let me make you an invitation. If you've found value in what we've shared so far, if something in you has stirred, subscribe to the channel, give this video a like, and let me know in the comments which country you're watching from. It means the world to me to know where this community is growing. People who don't give up, who choose to care for themselves and live with intention. Because yes, we may grow older, but we can also choose how. And that small act of washing your armpits with presence and intention might just be the start of something much bigger. You don't need the world to applaud you for it. It's enough that you know. It's enough that you feel it. Because when you choose to clean, even what seems insignificant, you're reclaiming what matters most, your power to start over, beginning with the simple things. Number 4, don't ignore what's between your toes. A study from Kyoto University revealed that the area between your toes can hold up to 10 times more bacteria than the palms of your hands. 10 times. And yet, how often in a year, not even in a day, do you stop to properly wash those narrow, damp, forgotten spaces? Most older adults stop bending down, either from discomfort or fear of losing balance, and slowly, foot care turns into a quiet ritual of abandonment. Not intentional, but deeply rooted. Your feet are not a minor part of your body. They're your contact with the earth, your foundation, the tool that takes you wherever you want to go. And between your toes, the body cries out in silence. Bad odor, fungus, dead skin. These aren't just cosmetic issues. They're signs that something essential is being overlooked. In Stoic philosophy, the small is never dismissed. Marcus Aurelius warned that everything that seems minimal holds within it the fullness of the cosmos. What goes neglected between the toes spreads into the spirit. Try this tonight or right now. Sit in silence and soak your feet in warm water with sea salt or vinegar for 15 minutes. Then, with a towel, dry between each toe slowly. Don't just dry, observe, feel. It's like cleaning out the forgotten corners of an old house. That simple act can become a declaration of self-respect. And if you want to take it further, apply a drop of tea tree oil, a powerful natural antiseptic, and let it sit as you breathe deeply. This ritual isn't just for your feet, it's for your dignity. Now ask yourself, what else are you leaving unattended because it's out of sight, because it's uncomfortable, because it seems insignificant? What other parts of your life are damp, neglected, or filled with residue you've been carrying without realizing? The body speaks, and when it speaks from the feet, it speaks from the root. Remember this: what you support without seeing still defines you. And when you choose to look where others no longer do, when you clean what once seemed unimportant, you become the quiet master of your body, your time, and your path. Because in care, there are no small details. There is only presence or absence, and you are here to be fully present, completely. Number 5, intimate areas aren't clean the way they used to be. There comes a point in life when your body starts to feel like an old guest. It's still with you, but it doesn't respond the way it used to. The skin becomes more sensitive, the mucous membranes change, and odors shift without warning. And it's in the most intimate places where many people go silent. They stop asking, stop mentioning it, stop paying attention. Out of shame, out of fear, out of the mistaken belief that those areas don't matter anymore. But they do. They matter more than you think. Intimate areas, in both men and women, go through deep transformations as the years go by. The pH balance changes. The natural bacteria that protect against infection grow weaker. And the products that once seemed harmless, fragrant soaps, intimate deodorants, harsh washes, become silent enemies that slowly damage that natural protective barrier. The result isn't just irritation or itching. It's also a constant acidic odor that won't go away, not because there's a lack of hygiene, but because there's a lack of understanding and care. Science now tells us that what these areas need isn't more cleaning, it's different cleaning, gentler, more mindful, more informed. Using neutral, fragrance-free soaps with a balanced pH is essential, drying gently without rubbing. Wearing breathable cotton underwear, avoiding long periods of dampness. These small habits make the difference between freshness and discomfort. But more than anything, what we need is a shift in attitude. To stop treating these parts of the body as if they're shameful, as if they no longer deserve attention. Stoicism teaches that nothing natural is disgraceful. Epictetus reminded us that everything that is part of human nature should be accepted with dignity, without shame, without hiding. And there's a truth here that we need to reclaim. Taking care of our intimate areas is not indecent. It's an act of deep respect for the body that still carries us, the body that has lived, that has felt, that stood by us through every battle. How could we not honor it? St. Augustine once wrote in his Confessions, "Late have I loved you, beauty so ancient and so new." That line can also be said of our bodies. Of this body we're now rediscovering more slowly, but with more awareness. We don't clean these intimate areas the way we used to, because we're no longer who we were. And that's not a loss. That's growth. Now more than ever, we have to see these areas with fresh eyes, not as something past, but as an essential part of our presence. Because the body's scent isn't only physical, it's emotional too. And when there's guilt, shame, or disconnection, the body speaks. But when there's conscious care, everything changes. The body responds, energy returns, confidence is felt, even in silence. So today, when you approach that part of yourself you've avoided seeing or touching with real attention, do it as an act of reconciliation. Not to please anyone, not to avoid criticism, do it for you, because you still can, because you're still here, because your body, even now, deserves to be touched with dignity, cleaned with intention, and cared for with the same tenderness we give to what is sacred. Number 6. Your neck and behind your ears say more about you than your words. There's a part of the body where time settles in without asking for permission. You don't easily see it in the mirror, but everyone around you does. I'm talking about your neck, and even more so, that small area behind your ears. The place most people forget to clean, where the skin gets thinner, more delicate, and where odor builds up quietly. It doesn't start out strong. It's faint, almost unnoticeable. But over time, it becomes part of you, like an unintentional signature. And the worst part isn't that others notice, it's that you get used to it. You normalize it. In many ancient cultures, the neck was seen as a bridge between the body and the soul. In traditional Chinese medicine, it's considered a key area for the flow of qi, or life energy. And it makes sense. The neck holds up the head, keeps balance, and leads to our voice. Behind the ears, in that small, quiet curve, are glands that produce oil, sweat, and natural buildup. But when those are left to accumulate, they become the source of a stale smell, the kind no one talks about but lingers after a hug or a close conversation. Neglect doesn't begin with forgetting. It begins with rushing, with washing without thinking, rinsing too quickly, assuming that area must be clean too. And as the years go by, as movement slow and flexibility fades, it becomes easy to stop reaching those little corners. The soap barely grazes them. The towel doesn't get there. And without realizing it, your body begins to send out signals of neglect. Not from lack of will, but from too much routine. Seneca once said, "We live as if we were going to live forever, and never touch what truly matters as if tomorrow might never come." That hits even harder when you think about the body, about what you ignore every day because it seems small. But the small things have a voice too. The small things represent you too. Try this tonight. Take a damp cotton pad and wipe behind your ears before bed. That's it. Then look at it. The stain, the color, the smell. That's not your destiny. That's just the result of a forgotten spot. And the simple act of noticing it already gives you back your power. It reminds you that you can do something, that it's not too late to care for what seems small but has a big impact. This isn't about appearances. It's not about pleasing anyone. It's about giving your body back the dignity time tries to take away. Because it doesn't matter how old you are. What matters is that you're still the one deciding how you smell, how you show up, how you inhabit your body, even in the quietest places, even in what's hidden. Because in the end, your presence begins in the details no one sees, but everyone feels, including you. Number 7. Your clothes are part of your hygiene too. What you wear each day speaks just as much about you as your eyes or your voice. But there's a quiet, common mistake that creeps in as we age. We start thinking of clothes as just an outer layer, an accessory, something we put on without thought. And yet, as the years go by, the relationship between our body and the fabric becomes more intimate, more decisive. Sweat doesn't evaporate the same way, our glands change, the skin releases different compounds. And clothing, if not cared for with intention, becomes a second skin that holds onto odor, discomfort, even sadness. It's not just about changing clothes daily. It's about understanding that fabric holds history, the remnants of a hot day, the trace of a lotion that didn't fully absorb, the natural oils our bodies release that cling to seams, to the inside of collars, to the hidden armpits of our garments. Washing isn't enough. Clothes need to breathe. They need to be aired out, the way the soul breathes when you finally let go of what's been weighing you down. In some Eastern cultures, it's said that every garment holds a vibration. And if that vibration isn't cleared, it stagnates. It spoils. It stays with you without you even realizing it. The Stoics understood that the external matters even if it doesn't rule over everything. Marcus Aurelius dressed simply but with care. He wasn't indifferent to appearance, only to excess. That's what we sometimes forget today, thinking that because we don't chase appearances, we can let our presence slip. But presence begins with how you smell, how your shirt feels, how your pants move with you, how your sheets welcome your body. Have you ever put on clean clothes that still smelled like a closed closet? Like dampness? That's not cleanliness, that's resignation, and you're not here to resign. I invite you to open your closet today, not just to tidy it up, but to look. Really look. Ask yourself which clothes you're wearing out of habit, which ones haven't seen fresh air in months, which ones make you feel old because they've been whispering that message to you for years. You might not realize it, but they shape you too. They either weigh you down or lift you up. A small act, like boiling your towels with vinegar or letting your clothes dry under the sun, can feel like rebirth. Not for anyone else, for you. So that every time you get dressed, you feel that what covers you also honors you. Because transformation doesn't begin with big decisions. It begins when you choose to stop tolerating the smell of neglect on your body or in your surroundings. When you clean your clothes with intention, you're not just purifying fabric, you're shedding another layer of forgetfulness. And you begin to walk again as someone who remembers that the soul also speaks through what touches the skin. We've reached the end of this journey, and if you're still here with me, it's because something inside you refuses to settle for what people call normal when it comes to aging. Because deep down, you know there's still a path ahead, energy to reclaim, dignity to defend. Today we didn't just talk about cleanliness. We talked about presence, about reconnecting with a body that's asking for attention, that deserves respect, and that can still be a temple if you choose to live in it with intention. I'm Gabriel, and this channel is where we gather, those of us who choose to take care of ourselves, not out of vanity, but out of self-respect. If this video brought you value, I invite you to subscribe and turn on notifications. Not because it's just a click, but because that small gesture is a sign that you've decided to keep learning, to keep growing, and to stay strong on your path toward a fuller life. I want to sincerely congratulate you for making it this far. That alone sets you apart. If you felt that something in this message spoke to you, leave a comment with the phrase, "I care for my body with wisdom," and let me know which country you're watching from. It moves me deeply to see how far these words can travel and to know that even from afar, we share this commitment to well-being. And if there's someone in your life who needs to hear this, someone who may have started neglecting themselves without meaning to, share this video with them. Sometimes, the right message at the right moment can spark real transformation. Thank you for being here, for listening, and for taking action. I'll see you again very soon. Until then, walk with your head held high, your body cared for, and your spirit awake, because there's still so much life ahead of you.